Hey everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of Problems Exposed and Resolved. So this time I'm joined by Helen Bolger Harris, who is a productivity expert, and that's all I'm going to tell you. I'm going to let her introduce herself and tell you the rest.
Okay, thank you, Alana. Oh, wow, that leaves it open.
Yeah.
All right, yes, I, productivity expert, I particularly love working with, I work, of course, with anybody, but I particularly love working with people who identify as being quite creative and or spiritual, and for whom the traditional way of doing productivity, inverted commas, time management, dealing with things like procrastination, etc., your traditional methods don't work because they actually have some different sort of thinking processes. The way they go about doing things can be quite different in terms of, you know, their business processes. And I've found that it has resonated with that group. I do work with women mostly, and that's who I market to, but it doesn't mean I won't work with men, because I will on occasion, but predominantly it's with women, and usually they're in the first few years of building their business. They've found that they've been struggling trying to grow their businesses using these traditional methods, and they're finding that they've got, you know, one foot on the accelerator, one foot on the brake, and it's just not gelling with them, and it's not progressing their business, but also their life. Because I have a really holistic approach, as you probably would have gathered, if that the market that I work with, and I therefore work with them around productivity to do in their business, but also in their personal lives, family life as well. So I really enjoy that.
That's fantastic. So it helped them get more balance.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's so true. I'm Libran, so I'm all about balance, and I've actually got a signature system that's called the 7 pillars of balance, and balance being an acronym for each of those pillars. So yeah, as much as possible. And you know, balance isn't a static point. We don't just get to balance, hey, yeah, I'm here, and then we're right. It's pretty dynamic, it's movable, and we need to go with that flow. But there's, you know, as much as possible to be able to create a balance between the different areas of life that we have when we're in our own businesses, and whatever else we've got happening in our private lives as well.
Yeah, that's really important. I think these days it's very important because you see a lot of people that they almost can fall into the trap of I'm more productive now. I can just do more, and they do more, and they do more, and they do more, and then they burn out.
Yeah, exactly right. Exactly right. You know, I have this, you know, sort of a saying. It's not just about the doing; it's about the being, which is a spiritual sort of reference. And what I mean by the being is, you know, how fulfilled are we? And yeah, being burnt out is not being fulfilled clearly, and being exhausted and stressed and frustrated and you know, really confused about how to move forward. You know, that's not what balance is about, of course. So they're the sort of areas that I really focus on with clients.
That's awesome. So what would be the biggest issues with clients that come to you? Like what point are most of them at?
Yep. So as I was talking about before, they're usually in the first few years of their business. So they've tried, you know, to create their productivity, perhaps as they might have done if some of them will come from a corporate background, not all, and that's my background. I've actually got a background in within the health sector in project management and quality improvement processes most recently, and I found, though, I wanted much more you know, self-expression, which was why I wanted to build my own business. And I found that these, what I call left brain, these, you know, traditional project management productivity processes were boring. I found I wasn't enjoying the work that I was doing, and I was finding in my corporate life I was getting more and more confined by all the structures and these, you know, typical sort of what I call left brain rules and regulations and that sort of thing, which are needed for often a big organisation. But when you come to your own business and the clients that I have, that actually doesn't work for them because, as I said before, their ways of thinking and working are different. So the thing is, though, often they don't know that. They just know that what they've been trying, the traditional way, hasn't been working.
Yeah.
So specifically the things that they'll come to me, the issues are around, obviously just generally how to be more productive, but also around focus is a big one. Because if they're particularly creative, and spiritual as well, but particularly if they're creative, they can have lots of ideas, which is great. I mean, that's the whole idea, pardon the pun, of creativity. But it can be really difficult for them to actually decide what to work on and to keep that focus going, because they can go down one path with one project or piece of work, and then there's another idea, and then they want to stop that and don't finish it, and then they want to go on to something else, and then there's something else, and that sort of thing. So it's sometimes I refer to it as helping them to ground more and to actually work out what's the one thing they want to work on, because that's where the focus is going with all this divided attention, this, bright, shiny object syndrome and all that sort of thing, which can happen with all of us. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but it can be a particular issue with this group. So I can help, as I said, for them to decide what it is they want to work on, really focus on it, and actually be able to follow through and complete it. And that's what's needed to progress our businesses and our lives generally at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, it sure is. And a lot of people don't, I think I see that a lot, even in the marketing world. They're trying to do everything at once instead of chunking it down and doing things.
Yeah.
It seems to be a common theme these days.
Unfortunately, I think it is. I mean, I think we get so overwhelmed when we start our businesses, all of us, with regards to, you've got to do this, and this, and it is challenging. I found it challenging to know, okay, what's the one thing I need to be doing now that's going to have the most impact? And I mean, that might be in a way with regards to progressing our businesses, but it might also be, as I said before, in our personal lives, and it might be about the quality of our life. It might be, getting some time out. It's not, it's not all just go. Because, as I said before, I'm all about balance. So focus is definitely one big area, and related to that is then the follow through, as I was talking before.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really rewarding working with this group of people who have got such gifts to be sharing. Their creative pursuits, whether that's their own creative business or whether they've got a business that they wouldn't term as being overly creative, like it's not in the arts or something like that, for instance, but they have that creative or spiritual personality or interest, passions that which means that is the way that they work and think. And that's what I found with myself, was that over years I wanted to become more creative in the way that, building my business. And I've always been spiritual, but I actually didn't lead with it, not in terms of my career, that's for sure. So what I found more recently, only been the last 6 months or so, that with actually incorporating more spiritual and creative ways of working, it's actually gelled better for me, because it's been more effective. It's been a lot more, it's taken the pressure off a lot more, and a lot more fun, and a lot more individually focused, because I was like so many other people that think there's got to be only one way to do it. And because this guru here says, do it this way, well, that's the way I've got to do it. But it's not always the case. So it's really working with people individually and making it tailor-made for them in the way that's going to work best for them.
Yeah, it's another important point, actually, the information overload. It is everywhere. I think there's just so much, it can be overwhelming for people.
Definitely.
Even one key business area, such as sales or marketing or finance, they can get so much information that they're like, oh my God, I don't know what to do next. And then it just gets stuck.
Exactly. That's exactly right. They're getting stuck, getting overwhelmed and get stuck, and then nothing progresses. So, and that's not what we want. You know, we want to be helping people to be able to get their businesses moving and be fulfilled in their business and, you know, in their lives generally, and contributing and all of that sort of thing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
If people want to get in touch with you, you've got an event coming up.
Yes, I've got a webinar that is coming up, which is on the 29th of January, a Monday, and that is at 8 p.m. That's Australian Eastern Daylight Saving Time, and I can put a link to that under the post, if that's okay, with the recording.
Awesome.
Yeah, which is really exciting. Oh, and I didn't say what it's about. That is actually on finding phenomenal focus. So, you know, it's a little bit like what we've been talking about. So, particularly, I mean, I think, you know, anyone would find value from it, but particularly geared for, as I said, people who identify as being creative and spiritual and are looking for a different way, and feel that creating focus will really help them.
Which is important because it's the start of the year, so they need to really time to kick it off. And
so true. Yeah, hopefully they've got some, I don't like to call them goals, I tend to like to call them inspirations, that they've got some inspirations for this year, and that this will help them with ensuring that those inspirations actually become fulfilled.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you've got your group as well if people want to get in touch.
Yes. If it's a women-only group, so sorry guys, but it's called Life and Biz Magic for Entrepreneurs, and it's obviously for women in business, and again a focus on creativity and spirituality. You know, a different way in that respect, what I call a right brain way, which tends to be more creative and dealing with things like spirituality and the emotions and that sort of thing, weaving those into traditional productivity methods, because then we have the best of both worlds, which I think's, you know, the way to go.
It is. It sure is. Thank you so much. And everyone get in touch if you need to improve on those areas. It's definitely important. You don't have much of a business without being able to do it.
No.
Being able to focus and have clarity and get everything in balance. So definitely get in touch, and thank you heaps for your time.
Oh, thank you, Alana. Thanks everyone. That was fun. Thank you.
Thanks.